Howdy, guys, and welcome to night number 70 of the Overnight Feeds recaps for Big Brother Season 24. Welcome to Cliff Notes, and welcome to Eviction Thursday. We got 5 people in the house, but it's getting ready to go down to 4, and I'm ready for it. The house has been a little slow over the past week. As a refresher, we've got Alyssa and Taylor on the block, and it seems like Alyssa's been the target for the majority of the week, thinking that she'll be going to the jury house this evening. Well, plans are afoot that could change that could end up with Taylor going to the jury house instead. Not sure that that's actually going to happen, but it's certainly something that's being worked on. And so we'll talk about that this evening. We had that going on last night. And we also had a little bit more of the continuing saga of Monte and Taylor. Yes, indeed. What was it? 3 nights ago, Monte and Taylor ended up spending the night together in the HOH room, in the HOH bed. A little bit of a makeout session. Then the feeds cut. So I don't know. We had again last night or 2 nights ago. Taylor ended up spending the night with Monte upstairs. Now that was a little bit dramatic because they slept in until, I don't know, noon or so, Big Brother time. Big Brother kept telling everyone to wake up. No one would wake up. But they were upstairs in bed together. Brittany walking around downstairs. She's already awake, just wondering if she maybe was going to come upstairs and catch these two unawares, so to speak. Never did happen. Little tough watching Alyssa sound asleep in her bedroom or in her bed downstairs, knowing that if she was up, if she happened to go into the HOH room and saw these two snuggling together, it could potentially blow up Taylor's game. Because certainly I would think that Brittany and Turner, neither one would be happy to hear just how close Monte and Taylor have become. So theoretically, if Alyssa had walked in and had quite the story to tell, it could change the game. But alas, that didn't happen. As far as I know, it's still a secret between Monte and Taylor about just how close they've become. Again, I don't think it'd be good for their game if others found out about it. So they better be careful. Now, Monte's losing his HOH room, so it's going to be a little tougher for the two of them to keep everything nice and private. We'll see what happens as we continue on with that particular little storyline. It could affect the game dynamics, most certainly. So we'll see what happens. All right. So let's talk about the feeds themselves and everything that happened last night. I mentioned that there's a plan afoot, and I'll try to keep this straight. It gets a little bit confusing because everyone's telling everyone else what they want to hear and not what they're actually planning, as is typical in Big Brother so many times. So let's start off with a conversation that's taking place in the car bedroom between Alyssa and Turner. Alyssa is telling Turner that, look, I talked to Brittany and trying to get her vote to keep me in the house, but she's just saying that she's undecided. She just doesn't know what she can do, what she is going to do. And I just don't know that I really have her vote yet. She's saying, I think I may talk to Monte because Monte seems a lot more receptive to maybe keeping me. Now, keep this in mind. There's only 2 people voting tonight to send someone out the door, and that's Brittany and Turner. 2 people voting. If it's a split, if it's a tie, then Monte breaks a tie. So Alyssa needs either Turner or Brittany to vote to save her, then get Monte on board to save her. The other option is if both people vote out Taylor, then she doesn't even have to go to Monte. Is that possible? Well, that's where the plan comes into place. I recall that at some point yesterday or the night before, Brittany had told Alyssa, said, look, you got my vote. I'm going to vote to save you. I'm going to vote to send Taylor out the door. She says, but you can't tell anyone about this, Alyssa. It has to be a blindside for this to work. And the plan then evolved into Brittany voting to save Alyssa, them convincing Turner to throw a sympathy vote to Alyssa and force Monte to break the tie, when in reality, Brittany also would be voting to save Alyssa. So it would be 2-0 to send Taylor out the door. They don't even need Monte's tiebreaker at that point in time. That's the plan between Brittany and Alyssa. Now, when it was first discussed night before last, I thought, well, is Brittany really going to turn on Taylor? They've been tight with each other. Is she really going to turn on Taylor? Or is she just doing this to try to make Alyssa feel better and maybe get Alyssa's jury vote if Brittany makes it to final 2? I wasn't certain night before last. After last night, I think I think Brittany really does want to do this. I think she wants to send Taylor out the door. instead. So that's the plan. And with this conversation, Alyssa is playing along. She thinks that she's already got Brittany's vote, but she's telling Turner, I just don't know that I've got the vote. I think she's going to vote for Taylor. Again, with the idea that maybe she can convince Turner to give her a vote just to be nice, right? Not realizing it's actually the vote that makes the decision for this evening. So she's telling Turner that. Alyssa is again trying to get Turner to give her his vote. Now, he has promised her over and over that he will vote to save her, but Brittany has already told Alyssa, said, yeah, he's saying that, but he's also said he's not actually going to do it. He's going to tell you that he's not going to vote for you at some point Wednesday night, Thursday morning. So Alyssa's just trying to make sure that Turner's on board, or at least hold his feet to the fire as much as she can. She's saying, look, I know you've told me before, but just so I don't have to keep asking, are you keeping me? Yes, I'm keeping you. 1,000%, Turner, are you keeping me? He says, yes, 1,000% I'm keeping you. She says, well, how about 1,000,000% of 1,000%? So I don't have to keep asking. I just have to make sure. And Turner says, look, you don't need to keep asking me. You've got my vote. I'm going to vote to keep you, and that's all there is to it. He had told Monty earlier that he would tell her either last night or sometime this morning that he actually was not going to vote to keep her. But as far as I know, he has not done that yet. He hadn't done it last night. Don't think he's done it yet this morning either. I'm not sure why. I feel like the longer that Turner waits, the more he leads Alyssa on, the worse it's going to get if he does make it to final two and he's asking her for a vote. This seems like a perfect situation where you just rip off that Band-Aid and say, look, we're friends, but in terms of my game, I can't keep you. I can't go against the rest of the group. But he's not doing it. He's still leading her on. I think that's going to be problematic for Turner. But anyway, he's telling Alyssa, saying, nah, you got my vote. Just trust me. You got my vote. If that truly is the case, wow, all kinds of things could happen. All right. We've got Alyssa and Taylor and Monty and Brittany in the workout room. The only person working out is Monty. Everyone else is just sitting around talking, non-game talk. They're talking about freckles, scars from the competitions. OTEV did a number on everyone this year. Plastic surgery, lip implants. Alyssa says her lip implants was the worst thing that she ever had ever. She eventually got them dissolved and all that. But she's talking about that. Having babies, having triplets. Alyssa's decided that if she had identical twins, she would have one of them either get their ears pierced or maybe tattoo something on one of them so she could tell them apart. So Alyssa's thinking ahead. All right, so they have a very non-game type talk, but they do that for a little while. Eventually, we've got Alyssa and Brittany in the bathroom updating each other. Alyssa's rehashing her conversation that she had with Turner and saying, look, Turner's still saying that he has my vote. I really think maybe I do have it. And Brittany's saying, well, maybe, but he lies before, and I know what it's like to be blindsided. And so he says that's great. But she's saying, do you think I ought to maybe go touch base with him later in the evening and see if maybe he really is considering giving you vote as like a sympathy vote? And she ends up doing just that a little bit later that we'll talk about. So Alyssa thinks she's got her vote. Brittany wants a little bit of confirmation on that. All right, we've got Alyssa visiting Monty in the HOH room. She's playing a game with Monty as well. She's telling Monty, saying, look, I think I've got Turner's vote, but Brittany just keeps telling me that Taylor's her friend, that she's just not sure that she can vote against her. And so, yeah, maybe I've got Turner's vote, but I'm pretty sure I don't have Brittany. So it's going to come down to you, Monty. Would you break the tie by voting to save me? I'd love for you at least to consider it. Monty's very non-committal. So yeah, I'll consider it. But, she does tell him, she says, look, if you don't do it, I know it's just game, not personal. I'm not going to hold it against you like some people have done already this season. She says, I'm good whichever way you go, but I'd love for you to at least consider it. And he says, well, I appreciate you treating it like that, but yeah, I will consider it. But again, Alyssa's playing the game. She wants Monty. She wants Turner to think that Brittany is absolutely on board to save Taylor so that they aren't worried about casting a little sympathy vote to save Alyssa. If it happens, it's going to be one heck of a blindside this evening. All right, we've got everyone napping around the house. That tends to happen when you stay up all night long. Big Brother is occasionally coming on and saying no napping, but not really enforcing it. So everyone's laying in different rooms, just resting, relaxing for a while. Eventually, we do have Taylor and Monty up in the HOH room. Monty's now recapping his conversation that he had with Alyssa a little bit later. And he's saying, look, I may tell her today, Thursday. He said the original plan was to tell her maybe Wednesday night. He's saying, yeah, maybe I'll wait now and tell her on Thursday that she's going home. Just give her one last nice evening in the house without a lot of, feeling bad and depressed and everything else. Let's just keep everything happy tonight so we can all talk and be okay with each other. I'll tell her tomorrow instead. So that's what the plan is, supposedly at this point in time. They start talking about Turner and the fact that now Alyssa has said again that she really thinks she has Turner's vote. And Monty's saying, I just don't think Turner would turn his back on you and I as a final three and actually vote you out, Taylor. I just don't think he's doing that. He's just telling that to Alyssa because he doesn't want to hurt her feelings. But he says, I just don't think Turner actually is going to vote to save Alyssa. And he says, why? He says, even if he did that and saved Alyssa, it doesn't do anything. Brittany's still coming for him no matter what. So it just doesn't make that much sense that Turner would do something and lose the protection of you and I if that was to happen. So they're thinking Turner is still on board with them, which is why it's so important that this be phrased as a sympathy vote and not in order to flip the house. All right. We've got Alyssa talking to Brittany, talking about her conversation with Monty, and just kind of rehashing that Monty really didn't say one way or the other and all that, but she told him that she didn't think she had Brittany's vote, so she's playing the game. Alyssa's excited because she's realizing, or she and Brittany are both realizing that if the plan was to work, that they easily could make a final two at that point in time. Now think about it. If it was to work, if Taylor went out the door, Monty can't play in this next HOH, which means the HOH would be between Turner, Alyssa, and Brittany. Who knows who wins that thing, right? And then who knows what happens after that. So they're very excited that this could lead to a final two for them. Alyssa's just happy that she may get to stay in the house a little bit longer. Brittany's a little bit more worried. She's talking about this is very delicate. We've got to phrase this just right, and it's not done yet. So don't get too excited just yet. But Brittany is saying that she hates, if this plan works, fantastic, but she hates that Taylor is going to be collateral damage. That she hates it's going to happen like this, that Taylor's going to go out the door. But she's also saying, but it's kind of Taylor's fault for jumping ship on me and betting too much of her game on Monty and Turner instead. This kind of conversation is what's making me think that Brittany really does intend to do this. She feels a little hurt and betrayed that she feels like she's lost Taylor. She's seeing that Taylor and Monty and Turner keep hanging out together. She feels like maybe they are the final three. Now, who knows? It could still be her just playing with Alyssa a little bit and making it seem like it's two of them against everyone else. I don't know, but my gut tells me Taylor or Brittany may actually be wanting this to happen. So she's saying, yeah, it's kind of Taylor's fault for turning her back on me. Alyssa, throughout the whole conversation, just keeps talking about Turner and saying, I really think he's going to keep me. I really think he's going to keep me. That's been her focus throughout the day. She does think that if this works, she thinks Monty would take her and Brittany to a final three, that he would abandon Turner and would rather take the two ladies to the final three. Not sure about that. I'm not sure that Monty's going to flip on Turner as much as they think he may be. All right, we've got Brittany and Turner in the storage room. Remember, Brittany told Alyssa she wanted to follow up with Turner. Well, she's doing that. Turner is saying that if he votes out Alyssa, that has said that she won't vote for him in a final two if he makes it to the jury vote. But he says at the same time he also doesn't like being threatened with that jury vote. So he's worried about it, but he's not really happy that Alyssa did that to him at all. And now, remember, he talked about trying to tell her before the eviction. Now he's saying that maybe he'll tell Alyssa in his goodbye message that he just couldn't vote against the rest of the house, the others in the house, to save Alyssa if everyone else wanted to go the other direction. He just couldn't do it. So it sounds like he may have chickened out a little bit and wants just to wait until Alyssa's out before she knows that he flipped on her. Just don't know that that's the best idea possible. All right, Brittany is asking Turner, if he's considered a sympathy vote. Remember, they're not asking him to flip and send Taylor out the door. They're just phrasing it as a sympathy vote. So she's saying, have you thought about a sympathy vote for Alyssa? And Turner says, look, Brittany, if you're okay with it, then I'll consider it. At which point, I'm sure Brittany on the inside is just dancing for joy. But here's the thing. I think Brittany suggesting this isn't the best idea. It looks too obvious. I probably would have told Alyssa, you need to just phrase this sympathy vote. Ask him if he'll just keep it from being unanimous vote or something. Brittany doing it, I think, just raises too many red flags because there's already not a lot of trust, any trust with Brittany versus Turner and Monte. But yeah, so I think they got to be careful. But she's saying, or he's saying, that he'll consider it if Brittany's okay with that kind of vote. Brittany's following that up by saying, look, why can't Monte just break the tie? She'll still go home. Alyssa's still going to go home, but that way Monte's going to take the heat. Monte's going to have the blood on his hands instead of you, Turner. And she's saying, you just got through saying how upset Alyssa's going to be, how she'll hold it against you and all that. Why do you have to be the bad guy? Give her the sympathy vote. You know which way I'm voting. Force Monte to make the decision, and he'll be the bad guy. It benefits all. And Turner saying, that actually could be a better situation. So Turner at this point is going to, he says, look, I'll tell you if I'm going to do a sympathy vote. I'll decide. Let me think about it. If I'm going to do it, I'll let you know ahead of time. And she says, oh, that's great. Yeah, think about it. That'd be fantastic, Turner. All right. Group fixed cinnamon rolls in the kitchen. They then drop the icing for the cinnamon rolls behind the stove, behind the oven, I guess, and tried to get it. Big Brother started griping at him and said, stop that, because they were trying to move the stove and everything. Big Brother doesn't like us messing with the appliances. I tried during my season to fix a broken drain hose in the washer. They didn't like that. They didn't like me messing with the stove at all. Just don't trust the handyman skills of the people inside that house. So they end up having their cinnamon rolls without the icing on top. It's a tough life in the Big Brother house, isn't it? All right, so they fixed cinnamon rolls and had some fun with that. The girls, and then later Turner, and then later Monte as well. Monte was upstairs in the diary room, and Turner, I think Turner was napping for a while, but eventually they all show up, and they're talking in the kitchen about not feeling great. Everyone's just feeling a little sick, changing weather. Probably staying up till 6 o'clock in the morning, and your sleep cycle's all messed up, but they're all feeling physically a little sick, a little under the weather and such. So they're talking about that. They're saying they really need some normal bedtime tonight. Well, we'll see if that happens or not. But eventually talk turns to past seasons of Big Brother and which ones they liked and how it worked and things like that. And then finally the talk turns to how much they will or won't hang out with their fellow house guests from this season. Some of these people have been so long since they've seen each other, and they're just not sure how they're going to handle the off season. It's always interesting to see people outside the house versus the way they played the game inside the house. And do you stay friends? Do you become closer, more distant? They'll all find that out over the next few months. Eventually, the group starts playing spades. They're talking about how much more they like playing spades even than Chinese checkers. It isn't nice. At this point in time, 4 of them are playing. Brittany is just watching. She got a blanket pulled up all the way around her. All you see is her face, but all 5 of them are in the dining room area playing spades. Eventually, Brittany calls it a night. Now, just a little before midnight. She said, y'all go for it, guys. I'm calling it an evening. So she's in bed. Eventually, I think Alyssa maybe goes into changing pajamas or something else, which leaves Monte and Taylor and Turner in the dining room together. Huge conversation right here, because as soon as they're alone, Turner tells Monte and Taylor, first of all Monte, and then Taylor comes over as well, says, look, Brittany's flipping. She's trying now to get you out, Taylor. She's talking to me. She's talking sympathy votes and all that, but Brittany wants Taylor out. She wants to save Alyssa. I know it's happening. So much for the blind side, so much for the secret, so much for convincing Turner that it's just a blind side, or it's just a sympathy vote, but it's really getting Taylor out. They're aware of what's going on. Turner tells Taylor, says, look, I'm not voting you out. I'm not casting a sympathy vote. I'm not voting you out. So we're good. There's no worries as long as the 3 of us are still tight together. He says, even if Brittany does that, if she casts the vote for Alyssa, I'm not casting that vote, Taylor. I'm voting to save you, to send Alyssa out the door. Monte, in the worst case scenario, still breaks a tie. You're good. So they're laughing. They're kind of laughing at Brittany and saying, again, she's doing this, and lies, lies, lies. And they're kind of, here's the thing. The fact that this plan has now been revealed really hurts Brittany's game. Beforehand, you would think, well, maybe she at least had Taylor's support somewhat over Turner, perhaps. At this point now, it seems like Alyssa's heading out the door. Brittany is going to be going up against these other three. If any one of these three wins the veto competition and Brittany's not safe by winning HOH, Brittany's out the door. There's no protection. It's 3 against 1 as a result of this plan getting revealed. So yeah, not the best situation for Brittany. And from a viewer standpoint and looking for blind sides and all that, maybe not the best for us either, because they are aware of what has happened. They're wondering why Brittany would do this. Why would she make this big flip and risk her game and everything else? And Monte says, look, here's the thing. He said, Brittany probably wants you gone, Taylor, because if you're gone, now suddenly she's only competing with Turner and Alyssa for the next HOH. So she's going to feel a lot more comfortable about the entire situation. So that they think they've got a motive as well. I think maybe that's it. Maybe Brittany just decided that Taylor was too strong a candidate, that she didn't want to be a final two with her, that she couldn't get the jury votes if she's sitting alongside Taylor. Maybe she just got her feelings hurt when she saw Taylor bonding up a little bit more with Turner and Monte. Maybe it's a little bit of everything, but yeah, they are aware of the plan, which is not well. Meanwhile, while all of this happening, Brittany, right before bed, has told Alyssa that Turner still intends to vote her out. She's saying, look, I don't think, he's saying kind of that he'll consider sympathy vote. She said, but I really think he's planning to vote you out still. So don't get too far ahead in your optimism and all of that. So again, as much as this plan would have been cool in a lot of ways if it worked, I think it's falling apart at this point in time. Turner's not buying it. None of them are buying it. All right, eventually we get Monte and Turner in the HOH room. Turner's talking about how bad Taylor must feel having yet another person that she's close to throwing her under the bus, and Monte saying, yeah, but she handles that stuff well. She's a forgiving person. She's a loving person. It'll be okay. But yeah, it is kind of rough. Eventually we get Monte and Taylor alone in the HOH room. Monte asking Taylor if she's okay, and Taylor saying, yeah, I've heard worse said about me in the house. I've had worse things happen. She says, it's fine. If Brittany wants to do that, it's fine. As long as I have at least 2 votes from you and Turner to stay in this house. She says, as long as that's the case, yeah, whatever. It is what it is. But at that point, Taylor also tells Monte, says, look, I'll win the next HOH. We'll be good. I'll win the next HOH. And then we'll take the room back again. So we've got another week upstairs in the room, at which point there's a little hugging and kissing, standing up, hugging and kissing each other before Taylor calls it a night, heads downstairs. So no hanky-panky taking place last night. And in fact, everyone's in bed by 1:30 or so. They're aware that tonight's HOH is going to be huge. Whoever wins tonight's HOH is our first final 3 person that makes it all the way to the end of the season. So they all know how huge it is. So they actually did call a regular bedtime, a regular night. I watched for quite a while figuring someone would pop up and have all kinds of game talk. Never happened. At least I don't think it happened. So there you go, guys. So a plan to try to not backdoor, a plan to blindside Taylor doesn't look like it's going to work. I fully expect to see Alyssa going home this evening. Brittany, because of what's happened, is going to absolutely be target number 1 for the other 3 in the house. But if Brittany wins HOH tonight, then all kinds of chaos ensues. Then we'll see what happens at that point. Guys, y'all have a fantastic Thursday. I'm looking forward to this evening. I will be back tomorrow to give y'all an update on what happened overnight. Hopefully have an HOH winner as well. Until then, SKD143. Cheers, my friends.